What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the SH Figuarts Masked Rider Blade from Kamen Rider. Now, let me start this off by saying I don't really know anything about Kamen Rider, never seen the series, but I've always been a fan of the designs. I think the suit designs are some of the coolest, designs I've ever seen, adjacent to like Power Rangers. And Kamen Rider kind of reminds me a lot of Power Rangers. A friend of mine told me that as far as like the show goes for like Kamen Rider, he said it's like kind of similar to Power Rangers, but more like battle royale style. That's kind of like the way he explained it to me. So I was like, all right, cool, man. I was like, eventually I'm gonna get around to actually watching some Kamen Rider. But for now, we have this really dope figure here, which I got at Book Off, which is a place not too far from my house, pretty close. I went there probably like a month or two ago with my friend Izzy. And yeah, I actually picked this guy up for 30 bucks. You can see it right there. I left the sticker on in the corner. I really picked this guy up for $30, which seems like a steal for an SH Figuarts because, being a more high-end figure, that really seems like a steal to me. I couldn't believe that they were, selling it that cheap. And I actually did look up the retail price for this guy, and we'll go through some of his stats because I found a really good site that seems pretty credible and has like his stats of when he was released and all that. But apparently he sold for 3,800 yen, which actually comes out to $24.24 in USD. So I was like, man, that is crazy for an SH Figuarts to think like SH Figuarts used to get sold like that cheap. Like I literally paid just over retail price for this, so like 30 bucks. I mean, that's amazing, man, for an SH Figuarts. So I was very, very happy that I was able to find this guy. I think I saw one more there. The package was pretty beat up though, and I think it might have been missing some of the accessories. So obviously I went for this one, which seems to be complete, and the package looks pretty nice overall. So in the front here we have Masked Rider Blade. We've got Bandai Tamashii Nations down there. Really cool writing in Japanese. We got a really nice picture of the figure right here, like a little promo art. Obviously you can see in the window there is the picture and all the stuff that he comes with. We'll see in just a sec. Side of the box again, we got SH Figuarts Masked Rider Blade coming around back. I really, really like the way the back looks. Very nice, smooth feel to it. Kind of like looks like a giant like playing card. And I think that was like the whole point. I think because this guy actually like uses a lot of like cards, I guess. So yeah, this design I think is really cool aesthetically. I really like it a whole bunch. And they got him like in some different poses here, and I guess like some of the cards that he comes with like tiny cards, but I guess like this is like what some of the cards would look like that he uses maybe in the show. Yeah, and then more writing in Japanese at the bottom there, spinning around to the other side. Again, SH Figuarts Masked Rider Blade, and at the top pretty much the same thing, SH Figuarts Masked Rider Blade. And in the front here they have kind of in like this neon fuchsia or magenta writing or whatever. It says that same SH Figuarts, disclaimer or like motto or whatever that they put on all the boxes. It says SH Figuarts is a new standard figure series that incorporates the Bandai action figure art under the theme pursuing character expression through humanoid action. All right, so I think that's like a perfect way to sum up what SH Figuarts is all about. But without further ado, we are going to get this guy out the packaging, take a closer look, and get him rated on the clean figurine scale. We're going to be taking a look at aesthetic, accuracy, articulation, accessories, posability, no capability because he doesn't have a cape, but price point. And we're going to give him a final rating all out of, this time it'll be out of 60 since he doesn't have a cape, so we're taking one category out. So it's going to get a final score out of 60. And we'll see if he's worth the money. But I am pretty confident that he is, especially given the price point. So let's go ahead and get him out the packaging. All right. And D Amazing has a lot of really good reviews on Kamen Rider figures. He seems to be a big fan of the franchise. I think Kamen Rider Kuga is like his favorite because he always mentions him and uses him for the size comparisons in his reviews. But yeah, today we've got ourselves a look at Mr. Blade, and I just really, really love the design of this guy. It stood out to me. when I was at book off, so I was like, man, I gotta pick this guy up. So I did. I went for him. All right, and here we go. Getting him out of packaging here. Got him standing up. So there is Masked Rider Blade, straight out of the packaging. Looking awesome. Really, really like the color scheme on him. And we're gonna get out the accessories one by one. We've got a sword. We've got an effects piece with cards, kind of splayed out in a deck. We've got a holster. We've got some alternate hands here. And we have these effects pieces, which look really, really good, by the way. Really, really nicely done effects pieces. So we'll see in just a minute here. All right, and there is that. Check this little piece out. Okay, so moving him aside very, very quickly, we'll take a look at his accessories. He comes with a fair amount, good bit here. So first up we have, get this one out the packaging, here we go. We have an almost closed fist, but not quite, a little bit of a gap, a little bit of space in between the fingers and the thumb there, but really nicely detailed. I like the silver paint for these kind of triangle plates by the knuckles. That looks really, really good, very clean. I like the dark blue color, kind of like a navy blue. Looks really good. So we get one of those. I think one of them might already be on the figure. Yeah, it looks like it. And then we have this one out. We have a fist hand. Very similar, but it's like a completely closed fist this time. No space, molded. The fingers are completely clenched. Very, you know, exact same design. Silver paint for the triangle studs or plates going over the knuckles there. And the sculpt looks really good. Very solid. Looks like kind of like a glove. It's got a little bit of texture in there. Kind of like a wrinkly type of pattern. But yeah, it looks really, really good. So we get one of those. And I believe the other fist is already on him as well. So we put that back. We get, let's see, we get that hand that I already, you know, the other side of that hand that I showed you first. And then we get this one right here, which I think is maybe for his cards, but see if we can get some better focus on this one. Come on, focus, focus, focus. There we go. So again, same design, but his hands or fingers are kind of open this time. Looks like maybe he's gripping cards or doing some kind of gesture with his hands. Hands kind of curling in there, so that looks pretty good. Nicely detailed, nicely painted, very clean. So we get that. We get a hand, let's see, we get, so yeah, we get two hands like that, and then we get, let's see, very similar to the second hand, or no, the first hand I showed, but I think these might be specifically for like holding cards, maybe, but very similar. Like the fingers come pretty much up to the thumb, but there's like a little bit of a gap in there. This might also be for him to hold his sword. This could be a sword holding hand, but he has a pair of these. So again, same paint scheme, but looks pretty sharp. Very, very nicely done. So there is that. All right, and then, so that's it for the hands. For the effects pieces, actually no, we'll start with the holster that comes with him. I believe this pegs onto one of his sides. I'm not sure if it's left or right, but he has a really nice holster here. I really, really like the sculpt on it. The detail for that little gold, you know, insignia on there looks really, really good, sharp and clean. And it's got the little strap that holds it, and it looks like it's gonna peg into his side. Again, that same navy blue type of color scheme. Looks pretty good. And there's the inside Oh, and it seems like this is actually on like a little bit of a hinge, so you can actually swivel it side to side and move it around. So that's really cool. So once you peg it on to him, it should be able to, you can be able to move it around a little bit, swivel it if you want. But yeah, very nicely detailed. So there you go for that. Then you have possibly one of his coolest effects, in my opinion. Ooh, almost dropped it. It is pretty small, but oh, looks like one of the. Hold on, let me attempt to put this little piece back in there. Wow, these are like really, really tiny. I don't even know. Okay, yeah, I think this was sitting like right here, maybe. Yeah. If I can get it to. I might have to glue this back down because I'm not really sure why it came out right now. But yeah, he gets this splayed out deck of cards and this little thing that kind of like holds it, or you know, at the end, like on the side here, this silver and blue piece. But he has like this whole deck of like splayed out cards that look really, really nice, especially for the size, considering like all the detail they got in there. That's pretty crazy. Very, very like small piece, and they got like a whole lot of detail in there. So all those cards look really cool. They have like the same design on them, but they look really, really cool, splayed out in kind of like a spiral pattern that looks really dope. And here is the bottom with the translucent plastic underneath. But yeah, really, really cool effects piece. I like that a whole bunch. And then we have this really, really cool looking sword. Matches his color aesthetic. So we got all the different colors. We got silver, got kind of like the light reddish color, almost like a pink, and then gold, the navy blue. But yeah, that detail is immaculate. Just look at the sculpt and paint for that. Very, very clean, the silver blade. And here it is from the side. I really, really like how that looks. All the gold kind of going up the blade there, and the blue and the silver, like everything is sharp. That paintwork is just immaculate, especially for the scale. You know, I got to give it to SH Figuarts when it comes to stuff like this. They really kill it with this. I don't know how they're able to keep it so clean on such a small scale, but they find a way and pull it off. And then here's like, I like this kind of like translucent piece in here with all these like lines kind of running down. I think that looks really cool. And I think he puts his cards into this, like when he slashes or something, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure his cards play a part in this. And you can even see right here, it's got like a number, like says 0005 right there. I'm not exactly sure what that means because I haven't seen the show, but I'm pretty sure that's got some kind of significance to it. But yeah, maybe that's like how much. Maybe that, or maybe that's 5,000. Maybe I'm reading it backwards, but maybe that's like a score or like a point for how much his cards are worth or whatever, or like, you know, how much damage it's gonna do. I don't know. I really haven't seen the show, but I'm just, you know, kind of guessing here. But yeah, this looks really, really cool. Really like this weapon. And then you get these kind of lightning effects looking pieces. They come in translucent plastic, but they look really, really good. This one kind of has a little bit of like a paint mishap. I think some of the red might have come off this effects piece I'm going to show you here in just a minute. But as far as I know, that little red spot is not supposed to be there. Just kind of a random paint blemish. But that I think rubbed onto this. But yeah, this still looks really good. So you get one piece that looks like that. You get another piece that looks like this, a little more branched out. Same type of, you know, lightning though. Exact same type of paint scheme, or like, you know, or translucent plastic or whatever that's used here. Looks really, really good. Splayed out electricity. At least I'm assuming it's lightning, I'm not sure, but some kind of energy, I guess. And then you get one last one that looks like this. And I think that looks pretty solid as well. So very cool. And then you get this piece, which is really dope. It seems like two pieces that were put together. So you have like this red, you know, that light kind of like reddish pink color at the bottom, and this really cool swirly, like almost flame looking effect. And then you got like this lightning on top of it that branches out into 4 parts from the top. That looks really, really nice. It's got like almost like a crystalline type sheen to it. But yeah, it looks really, really dope. And there's the bottom of it. So there is that. And last but not least, we have this kind of rock formation. I really, really like this effects piece. I'm glad that SH Figuarts put this in. I think this looks really, really good. You have this like dark kind of like slab of rock, like looks like maybe on a mountainside or something. And yeah, I've seen like he's supposed to be able to do a really cool pose with this. And yeah, but yeah, I'll show that off in just a minute. But just to look at the details really quick, very, very nicely done. Really solid paint work, solid sculpt. That looks like some nice hard rock. Really, really cool. So I like that piece a whole bunch. So that's it for his accessories. All right, so I think that's a pretty good spread. So why don't we go ahead and just rate the accessory section right now. Now again, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know technically like how much, like if this is technically a good spread of accessories for him, but I mean, I feel like especially for the $30 price point, what we've got here, we've got quite a lot. So I feel like it's plenty. I don't think we need any more than this for a figure, but maybe you guys that are fans of the show, any of you Kamen Rider fans out there that know this guy better than I do, let me know if like maybe he should have come with more stuff in the set if you feel like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and give him, for me personally, I'm gonna say that for accessories he gets a strong, I would say, honestly I'm gonna say 10 out of 10. I don't think he really needs anything else, even though I'm not familiar with the character necessarily, but I really don't see him needing much more than this. So he's gonna get a 10 in the accessory section. All right. So there we go. Now let's get into aesthetic. So pulling him back in, I really, really do like the design of this guy. It's very, very nice. Again, reminds me of kind of like a Power Ranger, or like maybe like a Power Ranger villain maybe, but it just looks really, really good to me. And I needed like some more. I've been looking to have somebody to kind of pose up against my, SH Figuarts Ranger figures, have them kind of like fighting somebody in the display. And even though I'm not sure if this guy's supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy or neither, I don't know. I haven't seen the show, but I feel like, he would look really cool in a display fighting against like, some Power Rangers figures from SHF. So that's what I'm gonna have him doing. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. Here's the back. Very, very nice design element going on in this guy. Really, really like it. I like those eyes a lot too. I like how like the Kamen Riders, a lot of them have like that beetle type of aesthetic, or like, like the bug eyes for their mask. I just really like that. I like how it came out on this figure too. And bringing in a image to do a comparison with the figure. Here is, I've got this image pulled up here. Nice full body image of the Masked Rider Blade. Ooh, knocked him down, my bad, homie. Put you back up there. But yeah, here is an image of the Masked Rider. And I'm guessing this is how he looks in the show. But yeah, as far as I can tell, this is like pretty spot on as far as like the figure goes. It looks pretty right to me. I think in other reviews I heard some people were complaining that like maybe his eyes were too small, or the head, something about it I think they said was like a little too small. I think it was the eyes in particular. But comparing it with like the artwork here, I mean, I'd say it's pretty spot on. Maybe they're just slightly a little too small, but I mean, I think overall it matches this artwork pretty well. And yeah, everything, aesthetic seems to look pretty good. As far as like accuracy, yeah, I'm not seeing like any issues so far. I don't have his holster plugged in, but it looks like, it goes on his, plugs into his left side, and then he keeps the sword or whatever in there, maybe. But yeah, as far as like everything else goes, this looks pretty accurate to me. I don't see any issues, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the aesthetic I mean, I'm like really looking here. I'm really trying to find like any issues that match up with this artwork, like any major differences. And I mean, honestly, I'm really not seeing anything. So I'm gonna give the aesthetic a strong 10 out of 10. So we got a 10 out of 10 for the aesthetics. All right, he's doing pretty well so far. And for the accuracy, yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. We got a 10 out of 10. And one thing I want to note is that even on the figure, I thought like this section looked kind of plain around, you know, like the top of his legs, like around the thighs, this chain or like studded belt piece that kind of wraps around these 4 pieces. I thought like that looked kind of plain. I was like thinking maybe they missed paint or like didn't paint that part. But according to this artwork, no, that's accurate. You know, it's those straps and studs are the same color as his legs. So, you know, in that dark blue color. So, I mean, yeah, so that's accurate. So they got that right. And it's even got like these studs on the side, which seem to be painted well. Again, this artwork image is, you know, it looks like it's like in the light. So obviously it's going to look a little bit more vibrant than probably what's on the figure. But as far as like the overall color, I mean, I would say like, you know, they got it right. So yeah, I would say 10 out of 10 for the accuracy. So yeah, he's doing real good. So moving this out of the way, we are going to get straight into play and display. All right, and posability. So let's check him out. Let's see what he's able to do. All right, so starting with the head, we can look up, ooh, not too far before it pops off. Let's see, pop that back on. Let's see, it's on a pretty tiny ball peg, as you hopefully just saw. But he's able to lift up about only a little bit before it pops off. So maybe not great range looking up. Let's try looking down. Oh, he can look down a lot better than up, so that's something to note. Okay, so he's able to get a pretty decent look down. There's a side view. All right, let's see, side to side turning, really good. He can swivel to each side very nicely. Might even be able to do it. Yeah, looks like he can do a 360. You kind of have to lift the chin over that little collar piece that he has right here, but very easy to do. And he swivels all the way around, so that's good. Any leaning? Yeah, seems like the head and neck kind of move around, have a good rotation, swiveling movement, so you can get some kind of more nuanced, you know, type of poses in there. Gets a little wiggle on there, and you can rotate with the neck. So yeah, actually a pretty good range as far as that goes. For the arms, let's see, he does have these shoulder pads, so let's see how far he can go up. Pushing. And the shoulder pad naturally kind of goes up as you move the arm up. You can get about that much, which is pretty good. A little bit better than 90 there, so I like that. Very nice. Coming back down by his side. Ooh, okay, it seems like that shoulder pad kind of moves with the shoulder. Okay, so yeah, it's like on a separate piece that kind of moves and hinges, which is really cool. I like that. I like that. Kind of similar to a Mafex, like how Mafex handles their Iron Man figures. So this shoulder pad kind of moves and shifts around. You can get it to where you want it. And then down by his sides, about that much. That looks pretty good. Straight out, and then you have the double jointed elbow. Bends about that far back, so better than 90. Pretty good crunch there, I like that. Coming back out, get the arm straight again. Hands, I think are on like that typical SH Figuarts ball and hinge, pretty small ball peg, but you get a full 360 rotation from it. You can hinge slightly up and down, just ever so slightly vertically, and then in and out plenty. He gets nice horizontal hinging. Let's see, any bicep swivel? Yep, we get a bicep swivel as well. It's a nice cut, like basically right where that little band is and the studs connected to the shoulder. Looks really good. It's nice how they were able to hide that seam with the sculpt of the band going around the arm, so that's good. Nice bicep swivel in there. As far as the torso, using his top joint, like around like where the chest armor is, you can bend him forward that much, which is decent. Definitely better than that Vader figure we just looked at by Mayfex. And then leaning backwards, about the same amount of range, so I think that's pretty good. All right, and then let's see, can he rotate from that top joint? Not so much, or I guess he kind of can, ever so slightly. Doesn't feel like it was really made for that, but you can get a little bit of rotation side to each side. Any leaning? Yep, you get a slight bit of leaning to each side as well. Just a little bit there, so like that. All right, and then for, let's see, any lower torso articulation. Yep, seems like he has another rotation just above or just below the belt. So at the waist, he's able to twist to each side. So you have another option for twisting, for a little more twist action. And yeah. So yeah, you kind of get that hula hoop motion using that top joint. You can really like kind of wiggle around like that. So that's really good. And the belt seems to be a separate piece, I think. Or is it attached? I think it might be attached actually. But yeah, it seems to be attached. It rotates with the top part. So yeah, there you go. It's not like a free floating piece. But moving on to the legs, out to the side, we'll start with that. He gets about that much. So not quite splits, but I think that's decent. I don't know how acrobatic this guy is supposed to be. I haven't seen him in action yet, but I think that's pretty decent out to the side range. You guys can let me know in the comments down below, those of you that know, if he should be able to do like, you know, full splits or anything. Kicking forward, he's on a really nice big ball joint that gets him a lot of range. Coming forward, gets a nice about 90-degree kick there, so that's pretty good. Coming backwards, only about that far before it hits the sculpt, so about the same as like a Hasbro figure, or you know, around there. Double jointed knees, it looks like, yeah. And he gets a really nice bend with those double jointed knees. Comes all the way up to the lower back. All right, or like at least, you know, to the top of his butt. And then down here at the feet, we're on a hinge, so he can hinge all the way down to the tippy toe. And I really like the sculpt of these boots, man. Very, very nice paintwork in those boots. Looks really good. He's able to hinge up the foot up about that far, which looks pretty good. Let's see, we get some rotation on that joint, that kind of ball joint, swivel side to side. And we do have a pretty steep ankle rocker, so I like that. That is really good range. You can definitely kind of swivel onto the heel there, so that looks really good. And these little metal kind of like bracket pieces that go around, these look really cool. These kind of remind me of like you know, like a rat trap or something. But yeah, these little like metal pieces that come around, they are kind of like free floating, so you can move them. You can see that they're like kind of loose, so they do kind of move around. But I like them, and that kind of helps with the articulation, so that you can they won't hinder the range so much. And the knee pads look pretty good as well. So yeah, I would say this dude has pretty good articulation. Let's see if the arms, does he have a butterfly joint? I think he kind of has like a butterfly joint in there. You can see that, the internal workings of the arm right there. You got kind of like some range, or like some, yeah, like some space to move around in there, forward and backwards. So pretty good joint system, yeah. Allows the whole arm to kind of move around. All those pieces working together. You get about that much range moving the arm back, which is not that much, just a little better than straight out to the side. Coming forward, you get about pretty much straight out. Can't really cross over the body, but that's not too bad. So yeah, man, based on what he has, what he's able to do, I think the website listed that he had like over 15 points, or like at least 15 points of articulation. So I'm gonna go ahead, I think that's pretty good for the articulation. I'm gonna give him, I would say I'll give him a nice solid 8 out of 10 for articulation. I think I think he has room for just a little bit more range, like a little improvement, but overall, I think he's really solid for articulation. So I'm gonna give him a 8 out of 10 for that category. All right. Posability. Now let's see if we can get him into a nice dynamic, fighting pose or something like that. I've seen reviews. Apparently, there is like a unmasked version of this, or like a battle damage where you can kind of see like half of the mask. And I think the website listed because apparently he had a re-release, but I don't know if it was that same like unmasked or battle damage version. But he did have a re-release that came out later in the year. Let's actually look at some of those stats right now. So yeah, I'm on the Bandai fandom kind of wiki fandom site, and they kind of have like some facts about this guy. So apparently he was released on August 24th, 2013, and then he was re-released he had like a reissue on November 16th that same year. So very, very cool. Like it a lot. He's made out of like a PVC and ABS type of plastic, so it feels really sturdy for the most part. And as long as you don't drop it too much or treat it roughly, it shouldn't break or have, any major issues as far as like chip, paint rub or paint chipping, things like that. Things of that nature. Let me see this little sword thing he has. I'm trying to figure out which hand is going to be able to grip the sword the best. Let me see if I get maybe this one. Maybe, let's see. This one seems kind of questionable. It's not the tightest grip on it, so I don't know if this hand is necessarily for the sword, but we're gonna try it out. I'm gonna try to get him into a nice dynamic pose here. And I'm not the best at posing figures, at least not like, on the spot. It takes me a little while to, really strike a good pose in a figure, but I'm gonna try my best here to make something kind of cool. So let's see. It'd be nice if this guy came with a stand, Mayfix is really good at giving figure stands, but then again, SH Figuarts did give us a lot with this release, so I'm definitely not complaining that he doesn't come with one, but let's just look at this quick pose here. I'm not going to necessarily stand him up, but I'm just trying to see if he can generally get into a really cool pose. And I think this is pretty cool, I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's try something a little different. Let's see here. I want to like really try to use his articulation to get him in a cool, very aerodynamic type of pose. So let's see. Ooh, don't drop it, don't drop it. Okay, there we go. I think I put a bad hand on him. I'm gonna switch out this hand really quick. I don't think that hand is really meant for the sword. Let's try maybe this hand. That seems a little tight for the sword though. Let's see, what about this one? If I can get it out. Okay, there we go. Is this for the right side? Hold up. Yeah, that should be right. Let me see if I can get this hand plugged in. Such small ball pegs for SH Figuarts. Can be a little tricky getting those hands to go in. Get in there. Okay, there we go. All right, let me see if I can get him to hold this sword a little tighter. Trying to stretch the plastic just a bit. Matter of fact, let me look at the packaging. That'll probably tell me what hand he should have. Pretty hard to tell. Kind of hard to tell from the packaging. It's pretty dark. Can't see his hand. his sword holding hand very well. Okay, you know what? For time's sake, I'm just gonna go back to the hand I had before, because I had an easier time getting the sword in there. So plug this one back in. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna put this one back, or put the sword back in there. Even though he's got a very loose grip on it, I just gotta angle it in a way that he's able to hold it, I guess, without dropping. I was really trying to get him to hold it a certain way though. So yeah, anyways, let's see, here we go. Trying to do something a little bit different. Here's like a kind of jumping pose, I guess, or like like he's charging at you with his giant sword. Maybe he's using it to block. But yeah, I'm just trying to like experiment a little bit here, see what he's capable of as far as posability. But I think he can, you know, get some pretty decent poses considering all the articulation that we ran through. Could even twist his hips a little bit this way. Maybe manipulate the legs like that. Have him doing a nice kick out. Turn his head this way. Maybe bring the arm in like he's blocking. Have the sword back. Get this leg right here. Have him look like he's kicking towards the camera. Hiya! See, I think that looks all right, man. So again, I'm not the best at poses on the spot, but I'm gonna give him a good old. I think I'm gonna give him a solid 9 for posability. I think he can hit some pretty decent stuff. Ooh, I went a little too high here on the scale, but I can fix that. All right, so solid 9 for the posability, no capability. For the price point, man, considering that this guy apparently was sold for only 3,800 yen, which is $24.24 in USD, I'm gonna give the price point honestly a 10 out of 10. For an SH Figuarts figure, I think that is like exceptional. That's like the cheapest I think I've ever seen in SH Figuarts. You know, I'm used to seeing, like, I know back in the day, a lot of some of the SH Figuarts, I think like Power Rangers figures went for like between 40 and 60, but I don't think I've ever seen like a $30 price point. That is insane. So yeah, for the price point, good old 10 out of 10. So we're gonna do a total up here. See what he gets out of 60. This time it's going to be out of 60 instead of 70, since there's no capability to rate. All right, so where is it? I don't need it. Let's just do simple math. So we got a 10 and a 10. 10 for aesthetic, plus a 10 for accuracy. That's 20. We've got an 8 for articulation. That's 28. We got a 10 for accessories. That's 38. We have a 9 for posability. That should be what, 47? Yeah, 47. And then we have a 10 for price point. So that is a 57 out of 60, which is obviously an A. That is in the 90th percentile. So this guy did fantastic. That's a solid 57 out of 60, which should be, I don't have my calculator to find the exact percentage, but that is like a strong 90%. I know that much. Over 90%, almost 100%. I mean, like, we're literally 3 points shy of 100%. So yeah, this guy gets a high A, man. He did fantastic on the clean figurine scale. Really, really solid figure. Obviously, I recommend him. And the last thing I want to show you before we get into size comparisons is just a few facts from the website that I mentioned. And it's going to show you like some of the poses and things that you're supposed to be able to do with this guy with his effects pieces. So obviously I don't have time to show off all of that in a review, but I definitely want you guys to be able to at least know apparently what he's capable of according to these pictures and things. So real quick, we've got this little read up. It just says right here, these are some facts about the figure. It says the figure features over 15 plus points of articulation, as we saw, had pretty good amount of articulation. The hands are swappable, right? Plenty of alternate hands. His blade rouser, which I think is the sword looking thing, can be wielded by blade or stored onto the holster. So I want to actually see what that looks like real quick. I'm gonna take the blade rouser, I guess it's called, out of his hand. I'm gonna actually plug in his holster. It plugs in, yeah, on his left side, so you can see there's a little hole right here on the side of his belt with a yeah, it's got a hole so you can plug in the peg for the holster. So let me get that in there. Pretty small hole, but should be able to get this piece in there. A little bit of force. All right, there we go. Plugs in nice. So now I've got his holster plugged into the side right there. Straighten his legs out. And again, it kind of has like a swivel so that you can move it forward and back. And let me put the blade rouser in there. You can see what that looks like. It's a pretty big piece. I don't know which way. Yeah, I guess it would go this way. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking that's how you're supposed to display it. But this is how he looks with the blade rouser, stored in his holster from the side. And I think that looks really good. Also from the front, I think that looks really, really nice. So that's dope. So yeah, you can store it in the holster. It says the blade rouser's card tray can recreate the deployed form via part swapping. So I think they have a picture of that. I'll show that down below in just a second. It says the deployed card tray can be applied with either Rouse card or common blank decals. So again, man, this is all going over my head. I haven't seen Kamen Rider, so I don't know exactly what they're talking about here. But if you guys know, let me know in the comments. All right, down below, let me know what they talking about. It says the lightning blast effect can optionally mount onto the right foot. I saw a picture of that. At least 1 to 3 Rouse cards can be wielded by the card holding hand. All right, and then Kamen Rider Blade can mount with the blue spader sold separately. Okay, so I guess that's like another piece that comes maybe, I guess, with a different version of this guy or something else. But yeah, I guess it doesn't come, the blue spader doesn't come with this particular release, but I guess if you do have it, you can use it to mount Kamen Rider Blade on there. So yeah, very, very cool. Always nice when you get, an effects piece or like something that comes in a separate release that you can use for another figure. Really, really cool. But yeah, man. So, oh yeah, I'll show you the pics real quick. So this is what they're, oh yeah, so they do have variants, like I mentioned. It says it right here. The SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Blade Jack form. I think that's the one that's like unmasked where you can completely see his face. And then you have the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Blade Broken Head version. Yeah, so like in that version, I've seen reviews, it's like basically half of his mask is kind of broken off and you can see like the eye or like his eye and like half of his face on one side. It looks really cool too. It's a really nice sculpt on that figure. But yeah, these are some of the pictures that they have on the website. So hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. But yeah, I really like this. So you got this one where his blade rouser is holstered in the side like I just showed. Here's a back shot of him going down. Here he is with the cards. So yeah, it looks like you can mount these card things onto the blade rouser and have him kind of like holding it and wielding it. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see that a little better. You see that picture right there on the bottom left? That looks really, really cool. And then you have, yeah, that rock piece that you can kind of, I guess, like stick his blade rouser into. Oops, clicked it by accident. There you go. Now you got a better better view of it. But yeah, there you go. So you can kind of stick the blade rouser, and you can see even in this effects piece, it does have like a little slot right here at the top there's like a little hole right there that I guess that's where you stick in the blade rouser. Like you sticking it down into that, and that looks really cool. I might actually do that for my display. I might try to recreate this, so that's really dope. But yeah, man, there it is. That is your Masked Kamen Rider Blade figure. So with all that being said, now that we've gotten our clean figurine scale score out of the way, we ran through all the necessary categories. There's only one thing left to do, and that is, of course, size comparisons. So, putting this guy back. Ooh, yeah, pretty zoomed in. Let me zoom out again. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Zoom out just a little bit. There we go. All right, so there he is back there. Chilling, looking dope. Look at that light shining on him. Man, this armor just looks really badass, man, front to back. And real quick, let's just look at the head sculpt up close real quick. I really like how they did the paint work for the head sculpt, like especially the eyes, that kind of like glossy, glassy look, and like you can even see like the little like light pink, almost like, you know how flies have like all those like tiny like like their eyes are made up of like tiny like lenses or whatever, like little spots. That's how this looks, which is really cool, I think, for you know, for an eye design on a figure. And like just all the detail in his helmet looks really awesome, front to back. That is clean, man. Just a really good looking figure, and for 30 bucks, man, oh, we don't deserve this. I mean, they killed it. Really awesome detail. I absolutely love the design of this suit. So yeah, I cannot wait to start watching Kamen Rider and see this guy particularly in action. I like the design of Kamen Rider Kuga as well. But yeah, all that out the way, let's get him up with my other SH Figuarts figures. First and foremost, we have Kabuto and Kawaga Rider. So here is Kabuto on this side. Let me actually zoom out a little bit here. There we go. We have Kabuto on that side and Kawaga Rider on this side. And his knees are a little bent, but just keep in mind that he's basically the exact same height as Kabuto Rider. So here's a little look at all three of them. Let's get you facing towards the camera more. There we go. And I think this looks really good. I can't wait to have like a kind of battle royale display where these three are like fighting each other. I think that's gonna look really dope. So yeah, I really like the beetle aesthetic on these guys. I think it goes well with this Masked Rider Blade. So there we go. Oh, knocked him down. My bad. My fault, bruh. Let me pick you up. I knocked the blade rouser out of your thing. Let me slide that back in there. Oops, supposed to go this way, I think. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so there we go. So here he is again. Sorry about that. Get him standing. All right, there we go. Let's speed it up. Here we go. We got the Red Hurricaneer on this side, or Ninja Storm Red, right here. And then we have on his opposite side, of course, my only other SH Figuarts, the Dragon Ranger, or Mighty Morphin Green. Gotta get this sexy beast next to him. And there you go. Look at that. Those three look absolutely immaculate next to one another. Very cool. Love how that looks, man. That is so clean. All right, moving these two aside, we have next, who we got? For a Lightning Collection comparison, we have the Dino Thunder White, or Abarequila, on this side. And back this up just a bit so you get a full view. So there he is with him, and then on his other side we'll get the Mafex Vader that I just reviewed, episode 3, number 037. We have episode 3 Vader on his opposite side. You can see Vader is obviously towering over him, a much bigger figure. And I think that looks really solid. Like that. Very good look. All right, moving those two aside, who we got? Next up, we got the Mattel Movie Master Scarecrow from Batman, the from Batman Begins. And then on his other side, we'll have the DC Universe All-Stars Classics 52, New 52 Batman. New 52 style Batman right there. Alright, and each of them, Scarecrow's about the same height as Masked Rider. Batman is obviously taller than both of them, so there you go. Moving right along. We have the Wasp, the MCU Wasp figure from Marvel Legends. From Ant-Man and the... Is it Ant-Man and the Wasp? It's either Ant-Man... Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Then we have Netflix Luke Cage on his opposite side. And Luke Cage is towering over him. Much bigger of a figure, but there you go. And next, we have Count Dooku from the Black Series by Hasbro. So here we go, Count Dooku. And here is the Matt Murdock from the No Way Home 3-pack. Or sorry, No Way Home card version. He was not in the 3-pack, he was a solo release, but you all know what I mean. So yeah, there you go. And last but not least, we don't need to see him against a bunch of Marvel Legends, but last but not least, we will throw in this Mark V Iron Man from the Hasbro Iron Man line back in the day. Figure we haven't seen in a very long time. And on his other side, we'll do the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origins Storm Shadow, who sucks at standing up, so I'm gonna hold him, but there you go. Yeah, he has a good amount of height over Masked Rider. I mean, wow, on the camera he looks like way bigger, but in person he's like maybe I would say like an inch taller, about like an inch, yeah, a good inch taller than him. He's not like huge over him, but, or maybe it's just the angle I'm looking at. I mean, yeah, I guess that's like a good angle, hopefully for you guys to see. He definitely does have height over Masked Rider though. And there's Iron Man on the other side. So there you go. So, putting everybody aside, that is going to be the conclusion of my review, y'all. Again, as far as the overall score, he got a 57 out of 60, which is obviously a very strong A, considering the price point of only around like $30 for this guy retail. And it seems like online you can find him for like around there. I think I was looking, I saw a lot of like, even on the aftermarket sites like eBay and Amazon. I think Amazon might have had them more expensive, but a lot of the sites or prices I saw online were ranging from $35 to $45. One of the most expensive I saw was like $76.37, and that was one listed on eBay coming from Japan. But yeah, it seems like if you can find this guy for anywhere around like the $30 to maybe $40 price range, I would say that's decent. I would say that's reasonable, especially given that the original price was only around like $30 or even less. So yeah, very strong figure. Love the design, love everything that he came with. I'm gonna have a lot of fun, displaying this guy, so after this review. So yeah, highly recommended. Very strong figure. And shout outs to SHF for killing it on this guy. Really amazing detail work, plenty of accessories, and a very decent batch of articulation as well. So yeah, awesome design, great price point. You can't go wrong, man. So this has been your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the SH Figuarts Masked Rider Blade figure. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and peace. Ching!